Somewhere inside the sprawling grounds of the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca, long after the cameras had disappeared and the crowds had gone home, a young Filipina tennis player sat alone near the baseline of an empty practice court. The Mediterranean air had cooled. The lights above the clay surface glowed softly in the distance. And Alex Eala stared quietly at the racket resting across her knees, exhausted after another brutal day of training. At that moment, nobody outside the academy truly understood what her journey looked like. They saw the highlights. They saw the trophies. They saw the smiling teenager from the Philippines slowly climbing the rankings of professional tennis. But they did not see the homesickness, the injuries, the loneliness, the endless pressure of carrying the hopes of an entire nation on shoulders still far too young for that kind of burden. And perhaps most importantly, they did not see the man who had quietly been watching her growth from the shadows the entire time. Because while the tennis world viewed Alex Eala as one of the brightest young prospects in Asia, Rafael Nadal had already begun seeing something much deeper. Not just a talented player, not just a future star, but someone who represented everything he believed tennis should stand for. Discipline, sacrifice, humility, courage. The kind of fighter who refuses to break even when the world gives her every reason to. And what Nadal eventually did for Alex Eala would shock the entire tennis community. Not because it involved money, not because it involved fame, but because it revealed a side of Rafael Nadal the public rarely gets to see. A side built not on championships, but on compassion. When Alex first arrived in Spain back in 2018, she was only 13 years old. A young girl from the Philippines carrying a dream so enormous it almost felt impossible. She had left behind her family, her friends, her language, and the only world she had ever known. Mallorca felt completely different. The food, the culture, the people, even the silence felt unfamiliar. At the beginning, there were days when she wondered if she had made a terrible mistake. Professional tennis is ruthless. For every player who succeeds, thousands disappear quietly before anyone ever learns their names. And Alex knew exactly what the odds looked like. The Philippines had never truly produced a global tennis superstar before. There was no established path, no blueprint, no massive national system designed to carry young talents to the top. If she wanted to succeed, she would have to build that road herself. That reality created enormous pressure. Every practice mattered. Every tournament mattered. Every loss felt heavier because she knew people back home were watching her as more than just an athlete. To many Filipinos, she represented possibility itself. And inside the Rafa Nadal Academy, somebody noticed that immediately. Rafael Nadal himself. At first, their interactions were small. Brief greetings in hallways. A quiet nod after practice. A few encouraging words after difficult matches. But Nadal paid attention. He watched how Alex trained even when coaches were no longer observing. He noticed how she handled defeats. He noticed how she treated staff members. He noticed the professionalism that seemed years beyond her age. Most importantly, he noticed how badly she wanted it. That mattered to Nadal more than talent ever could. Because nobody understood sacrifice better than him. Long before becoming one of the greatest players in tennis history, Nadal had also been a young athlete trying to prove himself against impossible expectations. He understood pressure. He understood pain. He understood what it felt like to dedicate your entire life to a dream that could collapse at any moment. And slowly, over time, the relationship between mentor and student became something much deeper. Alex began feeling less like a visitor at the academy and more like family. Nadal would occasionally stop by her training sessions. Sometimes he offered tactical advice. Sometimes he simply watched quietly from a distance. But his presence alone meant everything. Imagine being a teenage tennis player and suddenly realizing Rafael Nadal believes in you. Not publicly, not for cameras. Genuinely. That kind of belief changes people. And for Alex, it changed everything. Still, life at the academy was far from easy. While other teenagers celebrated birthdays with family and friends, Alex often spent hers thousands of miles from home. There were moments when the loneliness became overwhelming. Moments when injuries made her question whether all the sacrifice was worth it. Moments when losses hurt so badly she struggled to sleep afterward. Professional athletes rarely talk openly about those nights. The nights where doubt becomes louder than confidence. The nights where giving up suddenly feels tempting. But Nadal understood those moments completely. He had lived them himself. That is why he quietly made sure Alex never truly felt alone. During holidays, he invited her to family gatherings. After difficult losses, he checked on her personally. When she succeeded, he celebrated her progress with genuine pride. Little by little, Mallorca stopped feeling temporary. It became home. And as Alex continued developing into one of the Academy's brightest stars, her results started attracting international attention. Then came the breakthrough. The 2022 US Open Junior Championships. The tournament that changed her life forever. Alex Eala became the first Filipina in history to win a Grand Slam junior singles title. Suddenly, the entire Philippines exploded with pride. Television stations interrupted programming. News headlines flooded social media. Young athletes across the country saw something they had never truly seen before. A Filipina tennis player standing on top of the world. But what made the achievement even more emotional was knowing where it had started. The lonely teenager arriving in Spain years earlier had transformed into a champion. And through every stage of that journey, Rafael Nadal and the Academy had been beside her. Yet despite the trophies and recognition, Nadal sensed something deeper. Alex still carried enormous emotional pressure. Even after her success, she worried constantly about the future. Professional tennis is expensive. Travel costs, training expenses, medical care, housing. Everything can disappear quickly if results stop coming. And for athletes from countries without massive tennis funding, that uncertainty becomes terrifying. Nadal knew that. He also knew something else. Stability changes careers. An athlete who feels secure can focus entirely on growth. An athlete living in fear cannot. That realization planted an idea inside Nadal's mind. An extraordinary idea. One he kept secret for months. Even people close to him reportedly did not fully understand what he was planning. Then came November 2024. An ordinary afternoon that would become unforgettable. Alex had just completed a brutal training session. Her body ached. She was exhausted. The kind of exhaustion athletes know well. Physical fatigue mixed with mental emptiness. Then a message arrived. Rafa wants to see you in the main office. Immediately, anxiety hit her. Was something wrong? Had she disappointed someone? Was there a problem with her tournament schedule? Her mind raced as she walked toward the administration building. When she entered the conference room, she instantly sensed something unusual. Rafael Nadal was there. So was the Academy director. Several staff members stood quietly nearby. And in the corner of the room, a small camera crew waited silently. Alex looked confused, nervous, unsure. Nadal smiled warmly. "Sit down, Alex." She obeyed slowly, hands trembling slightly. Then Nadal began speaking. Not like a global sports icon. Not like a celebrity. But like family. He talked about the first time he saw her practice. He talked about her resilience, her character, her sacrifices. He explained how proud the Academy had become watching her grow not only as a player, but as a person. As he spoke, Alex felt emotion building in her chest. And then Nadal said the words she would never forget. "This Academy has been your home for many years," he said softly. "But I want to make that permanent." Alex froze. For a second, she genuinely thought she had misunderstood him. Nadal continued, "I want you to know that this place will always belong to you. Not as a student, not as a guest, as family." The room became completely silent. Then came the announcement that stunned everyone. Nadal revealed he was giving Alex permanent residence privileges at the Academy. A private apartment, lifetime access to training facilities, an official ambassador role helping mentor future generations of athletes. This was no symbolic gesture. This was life-changing. Alex covered her mouth with both hands. Her eyes filled instantly with tears. She tried speaking but couldn't. Emotion overwhelmed her completely. Finally, she stood up and embraced Nadal tightly while crying into his shoulder. Inside that room, even Academy staff members became emotional watching the moment unfold, because everyone understood what this meant. For years, Alex had sacrificed everything chasing a dream. Now, for the first time in her life, she truly had somewhere permanent to call home. "You earned this," Nadal told her quietly. "Every bit of it." The emotional moment spread across the tennis world almost immediately. At first, the Academy posted only a simple photo online. Nadal and Alex embracing. Caption, "Family forever." Within minutes, speculation exploded everywhere. Fans wanted answers. What had happened? Why was everyone suddenly talking about Alex Eala and Rafael Nadal? Then Alex posted her own emotional statement, and the internet erupted. Millions of people around the world reacted instantly, especially in the Philippines. For Filipinos, this was bigger than sports. One of the greatest athletes in history had publicly embraced a Filipina player as family. That carried enormous emotional significance. Social media flooded with pride. News stations covered the story nonstop. Young athletes across Southeast Asia suddenly saw something powerful. Someone like them mattered on the global stage. Still, not everybody reacted positively. Critics quickly appeared. Some questioned whether Nadal was showing favoritism. Others wondered if such security might reduce Alex's hunger to compete. A few even questioned whether she still represented the Philippines after spending so many years in Spain. The criticism hurt. Alex saw the comments, read the articles, felt the pressure. But Nadal refused to back down. When reporters asked him about the backlash, his response was simple. "My decisions are based on values, not public opinion," he said. Anyone who understands Alex's journey would understand why she deserves this. That statement silenced many critics immediately, because deep down, most people recognized the truth. This was never about favoritism. It was about belief. Nadal had seen a young athlete give everything she had to chase greatness. And he decided to reward that sacrifice in the most human way possible. By giving her security. By giving her belonging. By giving her peace. What made the story so powerful wasn't the apartment itself. It wasn't the facilities. It wasn't even the prestige of Nadal's support. It was the emotional meaning behind it. For years, Alex had lived with uncertainty. Now she finally had stability. And stability transforms athletes. Without constant fear about housing, finances, or survival, players can evolve mentally. They can compete freely, confidently, fearlessly. That impact became visible almost immediately. Alex's performances grew stronger. Her confidence grew louder. She played with greater freedom than ever before. Not because tennis suddenly became easier, but because emotionally she finally felt secure. Meanwhile, Nadal's gesture began influencing conversations across the sports world. People started asking bigger questions. What responsibility do legendary athletes have toward the next generation? Should mentorship involve more than advice and appearances? Could sports become more compassionate? Nadal's actions challenged traditional ideas of legacy. Most champions leave behind trophies. He was trying to leave behind opportunity. That difference matters. And Alex understood it deeply. Weeks after the announcement, she revealed plans to help underprivileged young athletes across Southeast Asia. She wanted to create training opportunities for players who lacked resources. She wanted to mentor Filipino children chasing impossible dreams. Most importantly, she wanted to continue the cycle of generosity Nadal had started. "Rafa showed me what real support looks like," she explained emotionally. "I want to become that kind of person for someone else someday." That sentence captured the heart of the entire story. Because this was never simply about tennis. It was about impact. About humanity. About changing lives. Months later, during a tennis event in the Philippines, Nadal visited alongside Alex for a youth clinic. Hundreds of children arrived carrying old rackets and enormous dreams. Some had never received professional coaching before. Watching Nadal interact with those children became emotional for everyone present. Because suddenly the bigger picture became visible. This was the true purpose behind everything. Not rankings. Not titles. Not fame. But creating pathways for people who previously had none. At one point, a young Filipino boy approached Nadal nervously. "Can I become like Alex someday?" he asked quietly. Nadal smiled warmly before kneeling to meet the child at eye level. "If you work hard and never stop believing," Nadal said, "then yes. Anything is possible." Standing nearby, Alex fought back tears listening to him speak. Because years earlier, she had once been that same child. Full of impossible dreams. Searching desperately for hope. Now she had become the example others looked toward. And none of it would have happened without the people who believed in her when success still seemed uncertain. That is why this story resonates so deeply around the world. Not because a famous athlete gave someone a gift, but because it reminds people how powerful belief can be. Rafael Nadal did not simply help Alex Eala's career. He changed her life. And through her, he may end up changing countless others too. Long after trophies fade and rankings disappear, moments like this remain. The kindness, the mentorship, the willingness to lift someone else upward. That becomes legacy. Today, Alex Eala continues rising through professional tennis, carrying not only the hopes of the Philippines, but also the values Nadal spent years teaching her. Resilience, humility, compassion, purpose. And somewhere inside the Rafa Nadal Academy, another young athlete is probably arriving for the very first time. Nervous, homesick, unsure whether they truly belong. Maybe one day, Alex Eala will become the person who changes that athlete's life the same way Rafael Nadal changed hers. Because the greatest champions do not only create victories, they create futures. And perhaps that is exactly what Rafael Nadal saw in Alex Eala all along.